we're gonna go through my Voltron deck. At least I think it's a Voltron deck. You know, there's a couple buff in the commander. How I intend to play this is very commander-centric. So I think it's pretty valid that I label it Voltron. It's also very control-based. You know, I really want everyone at the table to tremble. And when we look at the commander, you guys will see exactly why counter spells is here. So, firstly, got a couple views already. This is a week old because I've been hella busy. I named this my fucked up evil deck because I have an Animar deck. First deck I ever made. It's very artifact based. It's all about playing around, getting things out for cheap. That's pretty interesting. I might cover that next. But I wanted something a lot stronger because me and my friends, we typically play with proxies. And our power scaling has gone up a lot, like a ridiculous amount. Fucking hate theft decks, not gonna lie. So, without further ado, let's get it started. Firstly, he's a white-blue. With the Salt Summary of 67! Which is okay, you know, like, guys, it could have been more toxic. Let's not get upset at that, you know? I mean, I guess we could try and workshop a most toxic deck possible. The cost right here is 700 beans, but as I said, I mainly proxy, so that's not gonna bother me. So, my starting commander, or sorry, my commander of this deck is Taigam Outjai Master. The legendary creature, he's a human monk, he's 3/4. Now, this is pretty interesting, right? This first bit of text. Instant sorceries and dragon spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. That's pretty nice, not gonna complain about that. Well, this is where it gets a little spicier. See, I didn't know what Rebound does. I was a fool. Now, knowing what Rebound does, I understand the power. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if your commander attacked this turn, that spell gains Rebound. Now what does Rebound do? Well, if you can read, you're already ahead of me. Exile the spell as it resolves. At the beginning of your next upkeep, cast that card from exile without paying the mana cost. So, let's say we get a couple copy spells that let you run a spell multiple times. That's gonna be pretty beefy, right? So, let's check out our artifacts. Firstly, we've got Arcane Signet, which is fine, you know, it's just for mana. Then we have Glamdring. This is an artifact equipment. Equipped creature has first strike and gets +1/0 for each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard. Now I'm going to be discarding a lot of things as this goes on, because as I've learned with Rebound, it's in your exile pile, then it goes into your graveyard. That could be wrong. I really hope it's not, but this isn't the linchpin of my game plan, so that's okay. Anyways, whenever the equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, I can cast an instant or sorcery spell from my hand with mana value less than or equal to that damage, without paying the mana cost. Pretty good. That's an equip of 3, a summon of 2. Get that out decently early. Now, this, I really like the concept of across the table going, alright, got some will counters. Someone's about to face the fury. Mindsplice Apparatus, it's a 4 cost. It's got flash at the beginning of your upkeep, put an oil counter on Mindsplice. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less for each oil counter. Now, I'm fairly certain that I could do Proliferate and absolutely just free, like everything would be free. But I didn't feel like doing that. Panoptic Mirror, this is pretty interesting. 5 cost, colorless. Imprint X, tap, you may remove an instant or sorcery card with converted mana cost X in your hand from the game. That card is now imprinted on the artifact. At the beginning of upkeep, you may copy an imprinted sorcery or instant card and play the copy without paying the mana cost. Now, I did plug my deck into a, like, deck reviewer, and it said that this is an infinite in conjunction with some extra turn cards. Now, the first draft of this deck had, I think, about 5 extra turn cards, because I wanted to be able to, like, do 10 extra turns, you know, if I was in a tough spot. Got rid of them very quickly because I realized that is just terrible. But there are still, I think 2. Just, you know, in case I'm ever, like, in a rough situation. Again, I'd like to just reinstate, this is my toxic deck, you know? I did make it a lot more fun to play against, but it's still toxic. We got Soul Ring, classic. Sword of Wealth and Power, again, 3-cost artifact. Equipped creatures get 2/2 and have protection from instants and sorceries. Whenever a equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token. When you next cast an instant or sorcery, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Thought Vessel, no maximum hand size. That's just good. You'll see why in a second when we get to one of the dragons. Winged Boots, just flying and ward. Again, real easy. Now, back when I was talking about copying, this right here, this guy is going to be my GOAT. I still have not played this deck, but I can just tell you right now, this man is going to be my GOAT. He's flying, he's a 4-cost. You may reveal the first card you draw each turn. As you draw it, I don't know why I said that so slowly. Whenever you reveal an instant or sorcery card this way, copy that card and you may cast the copy. The copy costs 2 less. When God Eternal Kefnir dies or is put into exile, you may put it into its owner's library 3rd from the top. So basically, I have this guy. Forever. You know? He's my GOAT. Twinning Staff. This one made it into my deck right before I finalized everything. This was so fucking close to not being in here, but I'm so glad it is. 3-cost artifact. If you would copy a spell 1 or more times, instead copy it that many times plus an additional. You may choose new targets for each additional copy. Now, if you give 7 mana and tap, copy target instant or sorcery you control, choose a new targets for the copy. Like, that's fucking cool. So if you just get a lot of mana going, oh, you could potentially copy 2 or 3 times. Here's our first creature of the deck. 3-cost, playing into white. Partner with Alphanid Levelure? I guess, we'll see. She has first strike. The second spell you cast each turn costs 2 less. So, if my understanding of the game is correct, you're casting a creature as your first spell, so anything I do from that point on, or not anything, sorry, my second spell after a creature is now 2 less. The next best part about this lady here is that she actually has a dual thing to play off of, I guess. I don't know, I've never really played with partner cards. He's a 4-cost, he's 2/4, he has Vigilance, and Eucrasia. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. Pretty good. Now, remember that maximum hand size? Ancient Silver Dragon, 8-cost, flying, 8/8. Whenever Ancient Silver Dragon deals combat damage to a player, roll a d20. Draw cards equal to the result. You have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Now that's no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Fairly certain if he died, I'd lose that ability though. Here we have Archmage Emeritus, 4-cost. He's got Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant, draw a card, 2/2. Fairly good card. Dranith Magistrate. Okay, this one's kind of goofy, I'll admit that. Your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. That means that, like my rebound effect, that wouldn't work for other people, I'm fairly certain. Like, if they were running a similar commander, they're just not allowed to do that. Also, if you're running that one funky card of, like, if you draw this via your hand, you just lose the game, you're fucked. You either don't use it, or you use it and lose. This one's kind of weird to read because of the symbols on top. I'm pretty sure that symbol means It's some kind of token, or like generic maybe? I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm gonna try and pronounce that. He's a Phyrexian. Phyrexian? Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets. This ability triggers once each turn. Whenever an opponent casts an artifact or sorcery spell, counter it, and that also triggers once per turn. Then, the Paranoid Partisian. Or Partition. Not partition, that's wrong. 2 cost, 2/2. As Sten enters the battlefield, choose a card type other than creature or land. Spells you cast of the chosen type, 1 less. Okay, so like, let's say potentially I can bounce Sten back to my hand and then play him again. Oh my god, look at that effect! Exile Sten! Return it to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next step. Spells you cast of a chosen type cost 1 less. Now imagine if I had infinite turns, I can make everything free! Oh my goodness, are you seeing where we're going with this now? Do you get it? Okay, now we have the Wizards of Thay with Myriad. I don't know what Myriad does, I might have to look it up, or maybe it literally just is instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. You may cast sorcery spells as though they had flashes. The other part of that. Dragon Lord Outjai. He's a 5 cost. Wow. Really getting to the high numbers now. This is going to be challenging. Flying. Has hexproof as long as he's untapped. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the rest at the bottom of your library in any order. I like this card. I feel like I'm underestimating how strong it's truly going to be. But it's good, you know? Just being able to see more cards, I like that kind of thing. Elminster, or the Elmeister. Again, 5 cost. He's a Planeswalker. Starts with 5 loyalty. Whenever you scry, the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn cost X less to cast, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. His +2 loyalty. Draw a card, then scry 2. His -3. Exile the top card of your library. Create a number of 1/1 blue fairy token creature tokens, double token, with flying equal to the card's mana value. He could be my commander. Very cash money, but he's not. The Council of 4. Honestly, what was going through my head when I saw this card is it's just kind of funny having like 4 mad lads sitting there chilling out. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, I draw a card. No maximum hand size. I typically play, there's 5 of us at the table, so I'm going to be getting a lot of cards. Whenever a player casts their second spell during their turn, create a 2/2 White Knight. Again, that's a really strong card. It's got a toughness. You're not getting rid of this bad boy too easily. Wedding Ring. Now this is where I'm really delving into white silly goofy mechanics. I really want to bust this one out on the field. 4 cost artifact. When Wedding Ring enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, I draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during their turn, I gain that much life. Now this card, Dovescape. I've seen this in a lot of other decks. This is a 6 cost. It's an enchantment, so it's always going to be on the field, unless, you know, someone gets rid of it, but for the most part, it is a permanent. I feel like it's so strong that, like, this would be crazy. Maybe more balanced as, like, a sorcerer or something, but also, I never really played with blue before. That was a big thing about this deck, is that I wanted to do more sorceries, so maybe I'm just speaking out my ass. Whenever a player casts a non-creature spell, counter it. Just immediately counter that. That player creates X 1/1 white and blue bird creature tokens with flying, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. Now, this is where we get a bit more toxic again with Ghostly Prison. Again, an enchantment, a 3 cost. This is just sitting on my field. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 for each creature they control. So, if you got the money, I'm fucked. But if you don't, like, oh, it's over, buddy. You ain't touching me. We also have followed up with Propaganda. It's again the same effect. The controller has to pay 2 for each creature that's trying to hit me. Excuse me. Now we have Rhystic Study. It's a 3 cost. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, I draw a card, unless they pay 1. Then we have Swarm Intelligence, 7 cost. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. So then I do a spell, it gets copied X amount of times, then I rebound it, it gets done again. I've got to look up if rebounding is technically casting again. I don't think it is, because otherwise this is just a loop, isn't it? Yeah, no, that's not a thing, because otherwise that would be so fucking strong. Oh fuck, I clicked out. Alright, let's go down to the Swarm Intelligence. Okay, these are my evasion cards, technically. Here's Angelic Destiny. It's an enchantment with Aura. Now, Aura is something very important I've also never played with before. Animar, my other deck, my only other deck, is blue, green, red. And I didn't really delve into blue. I was mainly doing ramp and artifacts. So, I haven't seen most of these cards before. I didn't even know, like, signets were a thing. Okay. Anyways, back on track. So, when you play Angelic Destiny, enchant a creature. The enchanted creature gets 4/4, has flying and first strike. So again, we're buffing our commander, we're making him a strong man. It's an angel in addition to its other types. When enchanted creature dies, return Angelic Destiny to its owner's hand. So I pretty much always have this bad boy going. Trailblazer's Boots. Again, 2 cost. Equipped creature has non-basic land walk. It can't be blocked as long as the defending player controls a non-basic land. I just really wanted to get to a point where my commander couldn't be blocked, because I think that's an issue with Voltron decks, is if, you know, you've buffed your main guys so much, and then you're fighting someone with, like, I don't know, Monarch, and you just can't fucking touch them. This is the beginning of our Tutor Saga. Now remember, it's an instant, so search your library for artifact or enchantment cards, reveal it, then shuffle. Let's just double check that instants also get affected by our commander. Yeah, instant, sorcery, and dragon. He's a 3/4, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that before. So each tutor that I use, I get at least 2 uses of that tutor as long as I've attacked. Now we have Force of Will. 5 cost. You may pay 1 life and exile a blue card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Or if I don't want to do that, I can just counter target spell for 5. This is Guiding Bolt. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater, then scry 2. This works with that Planeswalker, the Elmmeister. Here we have Mystic Tutor. It's a 1 cost. Search your library, reveal it, put the card on top. Very good. Nexus Fate, take an extra turn after this one. If Nexus Fate would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal it and shuffle it into the owner's library instead. So again, I'm getting that bad boy back. Move that with Panatopic Mirror. I'm fucking winning, you know? Then I could use a tutor, I could find it again. There's a lot of different methods I could go about, but there's options to indefinitely keep it my turn. Permission denied. This starts making me kind of laugh. You know, what's going on with this guy here? Is this a graphic designer or a scientist? Instant. Counter target non-creature spell. Your opponents can't cast non-creatures this turn. Now this one's kind of fucked, I'm not gonna lie. Teferi's Protection. Until your next turn, your life total can't change, and I get protection from everything. All permanents get phase out. What that means is that I can't be hit, my field can't be hit. I'm just, guys, I'm sitting this turn out, I'm kind of scared, you know, it's just to buy me time. Or I guess because it's an instant, I could do it during someone else's turn if I was about to get clapped. Command Tower, add 1 mana of any color in your commander's identity. Deserted Beach, we've just got some normal lands here, some legendaries. This one's good because for 1 blue I can untap a legendary permanent. Got some islands. Yeah, I got 13 islands. Mystic Sanctuary. I really like this land. So, tap, add a blue. Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more islands. I've got a couple islands, I don't think that's going to be an issue. What really matters to me, when Mystic Sanctuary enters untapped, you may put a target instant or sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. So, if someone really just does not like something that I have and sends it to my graveyard, it's back. Lamau. We've got 14 planes. Reliquary Tower, again, no max hand size. That is something pivotal. Well, it's not pivotal to the deck, but it would give me a lot more options. When this enters, I get 1 life, which is cool. Helioid the Sun-Crowned. He's a legendary enchantment creature. He's a god, indestructible, as long as my devotion to white is less than 5. He's not a creature, which means he can't attack, he can't die. He's just kind of there. But he himself contributes to the 5 devotion. Whenever I gain life, put a 1/1 on target creature or enchantment I control. And then for 2, another target creature gains lifelink until the end of the turn. So, let's say my commander's about to do some fat fucking damage. Give him lifelink if I don't have some other route to give him lifelink. That damage goes through because he's unblockable, because pretty much everyone has unique lands, let's be real. And then I gain a bunch of 1/1s on... Again, we could just go for my commander and just buff him up. This card I'm not sorry about. This is evil, I'm aware of that. 4-cost Planeswalker. I can activate the loyalty abilities on any player's turn, anytime I could have casted an instant. So he starts with 3 loyalty. His +1 is draw a card, discard a card. His -3 is target creatures you don't control phase out. His -10, take 2 extra turns after this one. Mwah! Absolutely devious. Chroma's Will. Choose 1. If you control a commander as you cast a spell, choose both. Creatures you control gain flying, vigilance, and double strike until the end of the turn. Or, more defensive, they gain lifelink, indestructible, and protection from all colors. But if I have my commander out, again, I can just take everyone by their bootstraps, bend them over and go, alright boys, I'm here to win. I'm here to win. Put your decks away. I've already won. Something like that. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. Lawless Maneuver, 3-cost instant. If you control a commander, you may cast a spell without paying the cost. Creatures gain indestructible. Again, it's an instant, so I could use that for at minimum 2 turns. All that glitters, an enchantment aura. So I enchant the creature, gets 1/1 for each artifact or enchantment I control. That's pretty strong. Battle Mastery, again, it's just an aura that gives double strike. Excuse me. Enchant creature with another aura attached to it. Enchanted creature gets 3/3, first strike, vigilance, and lifelink. Isn't that crazy? That's pretty good. Not gonna lie. The only caveat is that I need to have another aura attached to said creature, which, as we've gone over with all the tutors and stuff, I can set up pretty easily. Grand Arbiter Augustine, alright? One of my good friends, he joins the call because I was telling him that I was theory crafting this evil deck, and he goes, listen man, I already know that you put Grand Arbiter Augustine in that deck, like that's fucked up, why would you ever do that? And I thought, I wonder what this card is. I looked it up, I read that he's a 2/3, he's a 4-cost, white spells you cast cost 1 less, blue spells are 1 less, spells your opponents cast are 1 more, and I went, Luke, it's in the deck now. So, thank you to Luke. Everyone that's watching this, I want you to put thank you to Luke in the comment section, please. Now, again, here's some mana stuff. If it would load, I guess it doesn't want to load. Pearl Medallion makes all your white spells cost 1 less. Sapphire Medallion, exact same thing, but with 1. They're both a 2-cost. Yep. Smothering Tithe. This card is fucking evil. Again, my buddy Ushin told me to put this in, and I was like, you betcha! An enchantment, a 4-cost. Whenever an opponent draws a card, that player may pay 2. If the player doesn't, I create a treasure token. Very fucking nice, you know? We're getting that mana gen up, we're getting We're getting the ramp, boys. You know, this is what it's all about. Well, I suppose that's not a ramp, because that's, yeah. Okay, let's not get into the semantics. So, here's Starfield Mystic, 2 cost. Enchantment spells you cast cost 1 less. Whenever an enchantment I control is put into a graveyard, put a 1/1 on Starfield Mystic. That's my boy. Remember earlier I had another card, about like I get a +1/+0 for everything in the graveyard. So now we're stacking multiple things. Very nice. Brilliant Restoration, if I counted right, that's a 7 cost. Sorcery, so again I get to use that multiple times. It's dawned on me that I haven't said every single time I could have used something multiple times, but just for reference, a majority of this deck is built around using these Wongo Giga cards like 3 or 4 times. Return all artifacts and enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, you know, if I was like, damn, he has 18 counters on him, that's so sick, but I was about to lose the game and I just needed my game to be like absolutely cracked, I'd put everyone back on the field. Replenish, if it would load. We'll see what that does, because I don't just have this all memorized. I'm not gonna lie to you. You know, we'll scroll down. We'll take a little look, see everything laid out. Here's Helioid, my goat. Teferi, sorry. Speaking's kind of hard, guys. So replenish, return all enchantment cards from your graveyard to play. Bonds of Faith. Now, this card is Giga. I wanted 1 more defense and 1 more offense in my card, and then I thought, surely there's an amalgamation of both. And by Joe, there is. 2 cost, Enchantment Aura, enchant creature. Creature gets 2/2 as long as it's a human. Otherwise, it can't attack or block. So if someone's fucking me up, boom, Bonds of Faith on you. I want to fuck someone up, boom, Bonds of Faith on me, because my commander is human. Very spicy indeed. Consulate Crackdown, it's a 5 cost. When he enters the battlefield, exile all artifacts your opponents control until he leaves. Sorry, I'm slurring my words now. Council's Judgment, 3 cost. This is where I started getting into voting cards. I thought, these would be kind of devious. So, how voting cards work is it starts with me, and then we go around the table in a clockwise order. It doesn't really matter as long as everyone votes. And they have to either pick, in this instant, to exile each permanent. Or sorry, I'll just read because each vote card is different, and I don't want to confuse you if this is your first time seeing a vote card. Starting with me, each player votes for a non-land permanent I don't control. Exile each permanent with the most votes, or tied for the most votes. So, we go around the table and go, I really don't like that card. The next guy can go, I also don't like that card, or he can go for a different one. Either way, exile each permanent with the most votes, or tied for the most votes. So they also can't pick me, because it's a card I don't control. So voting cards are literally just to fuck everyone up, and everyone knows that they contributed to me getting stronger, which I really like the concept of. Now, Detention Sphere, this is kind of cheeky, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's an enchantment, a 3 cost. When it enters the battlefield, exile target non-land permanent, not named Detention Sphere, and all other permanents with the same name. So I'm talking Phyrexian, Dragon, Sliver, stuff like that. Just gone. When the Detention Sphere leaves the battlefield, return them all under their own owner's controls. Fierce Guardianship, 3 cost. If I control a commander, cast this without paying, counter target non-creature spell. Imprisoned in the Moon, 3 cast. This is an aura. Enchant creature, land, or planeswalker. Permanent is a colorless land with add generic, loses all other card types and abilities. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted this, but also, as I said, me and the guys, we proxy a little bit. So there's some Giga cards out there, and some of them I just don't want to deal with. So that's pretty good. Promise of Loyalty, this one is fucking evil. Each player puts it's a 5 cost by the way. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifice the rest. So, they save their strongest creature, they get a field wipe, the creature that has that vow on it cannot attack me at all. It's just gonna take that. Quarantine field. This is a X cost, but for brevity we'll just say it's a 4 cost. When it enters with X isolation counters on it, that's how much mana I put towards it, enters the battlefield. For each isolation counter on it, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent an opponent controls until this card leaves. Transcendent Dragon. 6 cost. I think that's the first of this deck, actually. Flash Flying. When this creature enters, if you cast it, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard, then I can cast it for freebies. Austere Command. Choose 2. Destroy all artifacts, all enchantments, all creatures with mana value 3 or less, or mana value 4 or greater. So this is very much like a taking me down with you kind of thing. Or sorry, I'll take you down with me. Expropriate. Council's Dilemma. Another voting card. This is a 9 cost, but that's valid. Starting with me, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, I get an extra turn. For each money vote, I choose a permanent owned by the voter and get control of it. Again, it's a sorcery, so even though I'm exiling it, I get to rebound. So, no matter what, I get at least 2 turns out of this, because I can always just vote to give myself an extra turn. Then I rebound it. Then, holy shit, is that an infinite? Because okay, so here's my thought process. I use Expropriate. I do the time vote, so I get an extra turn. Then, when it's my extra turn, do I get to rebound it and vote for time again? I think that definitely works, but I don't think that I get to, like, bounce it continuously, because my exile pile, I don't just get to rebound everything in my exile pile. Like, that's not how this works. Yeah, I don't think that's an infinite, but I do get 2 turns of that, so that's pretty nice. Another tutor, 3 cost, just search for an enchantment, reveal it, put it on, shuffle. This is See the Truth, a 2 cost, look at the top 3 cards in my library, put one of those into my hand, the rest at the bottom. If this spell was cast from anywhere other than my hand, put each of those cards into my hand instead. Pretty nice. Solve the Equation, a 3 cost, search your library for an instant or sorcery, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. Ancient Gold Dragon, this boy's a 7 cost, he's a spicy. He's flying. When he deals combat damage, roll a d20, create a 1/1 blue fairy dragon, creature tokens with flying equal to the result. So I could get 20, I could get 1, who knows. Lieutenants of the Guard, 5 cost. Sorry guys, I'm getting tired, there's a lot of talking here. No breaks, this is a 1 take. When Lieutenants of the Guard enters the battlefield, starting with me, each player votes for strength or numbers. Put a 1/1 counter on Lieutenants of the Guard for each strength vote, and a 1/1 white soldier creature for each number vote. And that's my deck. That is all 100. Cool. We got tired right at the end. So, let's just look at these stats really quickly. So we've got a little bit more white, but we produce a little bit more blue, which is interesting. It doesn't really matter, as you can see down here. It is a difference of 1 card, so it doesn't matter. I don't believe that's taking into account... Actually, no, it definitely is taking into account my making white cheaper things like Augustine. Although maybe it's not, I don't know. Here's my average mana values. I don't know what this means. This curve, I guess I understand. Now this one. This one's interesting. So, probability of getting a token card, 14%. Probability of an artifact card, 46. A land, 95. That's juicy. We like lands. I really do think it would be in my best interest to do like a 7 land start. Because statistically, I'm gonna get more cards as I go on. And also, if I start with 7 land, you know, like I can get my commander out nice and early. I like high land starts. 7 was a bit hyperbolic, I'll admit that. But that's okay. Got a lot of removal. I know this says 9, but realistically this is like 18. So that's also another strong thing about this deck that I'd like to point out. I know I've really been jamming it down your throats that I get to use each spell multiple times, but my deck has like 140 cards now, just snowballing it, ballparking it, because of how many times I get to use them, and then if I copy them with Zombie and the other things, like, there's a possibility that I draw out, but I think if I draw out, that's really funny, so I don't really care. This deck was a lot more toxic in its first couple drafts, but now I think it's just kind of cute, it's kind of fun. Honestly, I'm very happy with it. I hope this was interesting. Yeah, this is my fucked up evil deck that plays pretty Voltron-esque. It's very counter-spelly, and it's just a lot of different things that I think come together quite well. Obviously, I've only been able to like theory craft. I don't have tabletop simulator, so I haven't been able to actually play this and go, yes, this is exactly how this should be done, or let me change this. I'm more than happy to like realize that maybe I have too many aura cards, or because I have some aura cards that have multiple effects, maybe that's silly, it's a waste of a card. I don't think so, because as long as I'm getting like vigilance on my commander, or as long as I'm getting lifelink consistently, that's what matters to me. I want a consistent deck more so than these crazy cards, but I don't get them all the time. So in my mind, a strong deck is a consistent one. That's what I tried to build here. You know, Smothering Tide is just evil, or is vomiting. Arbiter Augustine really isn't as strong as... Well, like, it's strong, but I don't think it's that crazy. Brilliant Restoration, that's gonna cause some hatred towards me at the table, because Field might wipe me once. Hoo-hoo, it's back. Field wiped me twice. LOL! You're never gonna guess what I did! Granted, I should also say again that for me to rebound, I need to deal damage with my commander. Like, that has to go through. But yeah, that's my deck. I'm pretty confident with it. I'm honestly a big fan of it. This was fun. I think I've got to do my Animar one now, because that one is so much weaker. Like, it's not even funny. It had some cracked abilities in it, but like, what Magic deck doesn't? It's way less consistent, but it's near and dear to my heart because it's my first deck, you know? But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you later. Bye.